O ever immaculate Virgin, Mother of mercy, health of the sick, refuge of sinners, comforter of the afflicted, you know my wants, my troubles, my sufferings. Look upon me with mercy. When you appeared in the grotto of Lourdes, you made it a privileged sanctuary, where you dispense your favors, and where many sufferers have obtained the cure of their infirmities, both spiritual and corporal. I come therefore with unbounded confidence to implore your maternal intercession. My loving mother, obtain my request. I will try to imitate your virtues, so that I may one day share your company and bless you in eternity. Our Lady of Lourdes,
Pray for us.
So what's that?
You said it like every.
Oh, really? Okay, so we're looking here at this question, right? What is friendship? And he starts by saying just how wonderful it is, speaking about its necessity, and then showing the many opinions before phrasing his question. That's called dialectics, which means what?
It means something of. It means. Oh, I know what it means. Will of. Two words. Conversation.
What does this mean?
Of the word. Fine word.
Lexio, reading.
Reading.
Lectionary. Lex. Okay. So anyway, good job. 2 words. So he throws it all around to get your opinion going. And then in chapter 2, he starts to set up the problem. And he says, well, let's put it this way. You know, the exact question is, right, like, what makes friends? And he goes on to say that friendship has 3 elements to it. What would those 3 elements be?
Useful, pleasant.
No. Those are the 3 kinds of friendship. But what are the 3 elements involved in all forms of friendship?
Oh, it was. It has to be
Good,
reciprocated.
which means in Latin,
Benevolence.
nice.
It has to be reciprocated.
And you have to both know it.
And
All parties know it.
yeah, how would I put that? Stated,
Understood.
right? Good. Right there, you guys, when you go forth and from SJI and I tell everybody, no, they can handle a youth group. They can actually manage a youth group. It's because, like, with that knowledge right there, you've got 60% of teenage problems. Either they don't wish each other well, or they do too much, or it's just them and not the other, or the other and not them, the creepy guy who's got lots of benevolence for you and is wishing it upon you, but it's not reciprocal, or it's not understood and stated. What relationship do we actually have? So she had me over, but then she didn't talk to me all night. What was that? She had me over, she didn't talk to me. I was a friend, but it wasn't a friend. That's even worse. It's terrible. It's just like, okay, so these 3 things really good just to always have those memorized and have in your brain. Even for yourself as you're going forward, you say, okay, in my life, do my friends know? Do my friends know? Have I told you lately that you're my friend? Okay, so it's obviously got to be a little bit weird. I mean, you don't sit around telling people you're my friend, but it's kind of cool to see that. Okay, then he says, all right, that being said, this makes up what we call I would almost put it like as friendly feelings. Okay, it's like you can kind of like put it that way. Friendly feelings. It's like, because it's not friendship as we understand it. It means friendly disposition. And then he says, well, this is really difficult because we say this about many things. Give me some of the things that we say this about. I've got a friendly feeling. Can I have a friendly feeling towards wine?
Yes.
But would it be a friendship with wine?
No.
Nice. So when the guy says he married his, there's an expression, there's a military guy in Corsica who was giving a speech. He was retiring as a general, and he said, I would like to now acknowledge and let my wife know that I've had a mistress for the past 35 years. The military. Obviously, a metaphor. What are some of those friendly feelings that you can express towards people? What kind of people can you express them towards?
The garbage man.
Nice. And what type of person would that be?
He would be useful.
Yes. So a useful friend. Now, let's go beyond the garbage man, which is the one in the notes. Can you make up for me and talk to me about what this looks like, a useful friend?
The mailman.
How about in your life? In your life, who has been a useful friend? And it was the mailman. So tell me about the mailman.
Someone who has like provided you with a service,
Tell me
like
your story. In your life,
oh my gosh.
who's a useful friend?
Oh, Derek at Office Depot has been my useful friend for
There
the
you
last
go.
2 weeks.
Derek. Is he single?
I don't know. I wasn't
Okay.
checking.
That's very interesting. See, you never went to a deeper level. You were content to stay at a useful friendship. Derek at Office Depot. Now, why? So what? So go through these three. Do you have a well wishing? Do you wish him well?
Yes.
Good. And at what level do you wish him well?
Terrible example. But, well, I mean, I wish I wish goodwill for him. I hope that he,
As?
I mean, because he was friendly, he did me a service. He got me a lot of stuff, like, really quickly, and then got me a lot of free stuff. And then, like, wish me luck on everything. So, like, I hope, wish him well.
You wish him well in a general
Yeah.
sense, a human being, but then you hope that he's there because he does really good work.
Yeah.
And you hope that his hands are healthy, and you hope that he's happy because you want the experience to be a good one.
You wish him well for your experience.
Yes.
Yeah, but insofar as he's a worker at Office Depot, it would be really weird if you're like, hey Derek, I hope that your family's okay, all your children, your wife. Suddenly be like, whoa, that's transgressing the law. We don't know each other at that.
Yeah.
You almost look at what you have in common. For these three forms of friendship, a way of looking at them is what is in common. What do you share together? This is a neat little thing for how do I progress in a relationship. You try to share more deeply. The more that you have in common, the more that you're bound together. So like after living with the monks for 2 years, you guys will have, I mean like then like, everyone else will be like, I did an eagle eye with them, I really like them, and you'll just be like, wow, We have a lot more in common than that, we did all these things together. And then that means that there's like a relationship that's between a person who went to Eagle Eye and one of the SJI students. Whose funeral am I going to do? SJI student. Why?
Yeah.
Because the friendship.
Wait,
is
why are we dying so soon? Because we went to SJI.
Yeah.
So you mean like common, not like common as in we have the same interest, or like but common in like you have shared experiences?
Both.
Okay.
Both. But here with Derek, what you have in common is that you need things printed, and he's the printer.
Yeah.
And you can throw more things out there. That's what you do in conversation. You just try to find more commonalities. Like, hey, it's warm outside. And he's like, yeah, okay, now you have that in common. Both of you agree that it's warm. It's like really silly, but that's actually what we're doing. Trying to build a rapport by searching. This is something that's really painful when you're in a position like a priest, like myself, because I'm searching all the time. And there are people that just don't give you anything. One-word answers, two-word answers. And you're like, well, you're open the conversation here, like, like, what about this, And you're looking for is anything you can build off of. So the art of conversation, this is a neat thing for you to know, like, because you have to learn how to do this. Art of conversation is you throw something out there, you find a commonality, and then you build another commonality upon it. And you can either build an extension, like, well, it's warm in Toledo, too. Oh, you're from Toledo? Yeah, I'm from Toledo. Do you know the Mud Hens? That's by extension this way. Yeah, I used to go there when I was a kid. Really, where'd you sit? You keep on going flat, flat, flat. And your extension from, we sat on a bench. Hey, my dad used to make benches. No kidding, so did my dad. Really, where did he work? Okay, you just keep going. And that's fine. A lot of people like that. Then you can also go by depth. You hinge it on there like Mud Hens. And then you're like, the thing about baseball is that it just seems to me like a colossal waste of time. Well, now you just went it down. Like, this is like a depth move. And you see if he follows. Wasting time. There's many ways to waste time. What's your favorite way? Whoa, now he's in me. Or he's like, yeah, go back up to here. So you're always in this conversation based upon this, what we have in common. And that's why you go from a conversation to, hey, you want to get a beer. Now you're putting time in common, space in common, experience in common, drink in common. And you go from there to let's play baseball together. Okay? So going back here, useful friends, what you have in common is what's useful. Pleasant friends, you have in common pleasure. And this is a deeper type of friendship. Anyone have an example of a pleasant friend?
So, do you mean like pleasant and like someone who makes you laugh?
Just one example,
Oh,
but
yeah,
there's other
those
examples.
Like, but it could also just be like someone that you see at like a place every week and you chat with them for like 5-10 minutes, right? And like I'm thinking when I was a kid and took piano lessons, like there would always be like the other person in the like while I was waiting for my teacher, there would always be the other person and we'd like talk for like 5-10 minutes to each other every week and talk about whatever, but it wasn't like we hung out or anything. We just
And why did you talk with her?
we were both staring at each other and I mean it was
That's great.
interesting, like you get to know about each other, about like what they're doing and what
Exactly.
it's just like visiting.
And there are some people that you just click with better than others.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird like that.
Or I think even like
There's some people, I swear, they come up to communion, and just the way that they come up to communion, I bonded with them. It's really bizarre. You just tell, like, there's certain people you're just like, oh, that person's wonderful. And other people don't stick out. And we're all like that. You're at the car and you look over to the other guy in the car and you're like, that guy's probably pretty cool. Okay, wow. That would be this pleasant friend.
yeah, or like the person that you just like the class clown.
Right.
The person that makes
Or
you
your
laugh.
drinking buddies.
Yeah.
I mean, you could die and they just all would go to the bar that night. And they'd say, yeah, we miss him. That's it. Your surfing buddies. Same type of thing. Like,
I think even work friends are more like pleasant friends.
yeah, you got it. Exactly. Because the challenge would be as soon as one of them is no longer pleasant, are they still your friend? I remember a kid I taught in high school who was overweight when he was in high school. I didn't even really notice this. I didn't know it, but he was being picked on all the time, made fun of. He was a real quiet kid. And he's now a muscle bodybuilder. And I remember him reaching out to me on Facebook and had a picture of him rippled with muscles. And him saying, hey, remember me in high school? Remember how all the kids made fun of me? I always remember that you were really nice to me, Mr. Brown. I want to thank you. Because now everybody wants to be my friend. But I never forget how it was when I was fat. And it's just like, wow, I saw that kid. Tried to reach out to him. I don't remember being really nice, but he must have remembered that. That's that he's seen it. So this is the girl at the prom. Everybody just loves her, but they only love her because she's pretty and flirtatious. If she wasn't, they didn't pay attention to her. So, and it's kind of cool. As you grow older, you kind of start with your mom, a very useful friendship, and then you have your first friends. But friends for 14-year-olds, they can go kind of deep, but they almost need something to precipitate them into the depths. If not, it's all about the best basketball player, and all the guys are trying to be the best basketball player because makes you cool. It's the group, you know, pleasant friendships. That's why a zit on your forehead is like the worst thing that could possibly happen. Because it's all pleasant friendships. Okay? Third, this one he just calls true friendship. And it's kind of cool because there's no special name for it. It's just true. We call it also spiritual friendships. And here, he's not going to talk about it. Cool? That's good. Cool. This is really, I think, very helpful stuff for your life, but also for all the guidance you're going to give people through the years. Because seriously, you read a whole book, C.S. Lewis would write a whole book on this. You know, the 4 kinds of love. Hello, that's what this is. Okay, let's take a look then. And he says...
Now the useful is not
We're
permanent.
there? Okay.
Yep.
So let's go. Who'd like to read first today?
Now the useful is not permanent, but is always changing. Thus, when the motive of the friendship is done away, the friendship is dissolved.
Stop. See that motive of the friendship? The reason why you were a friend.
And the friendship is dissolved, inasmuch as it existed only for the ends in question. This kind of friendship seems to exist chiefly between old people. For at that age, people pursue not the pleasant, but the useful.
That's so funny. I like that
Yeah.
cashier. I want Doris. She's fast.
Like you see, like old people, like old two people being friends because one of them can drive the other one around. Like,
Great.
and of those who are in their prime are young, between those who pursue utility. And such people do not live much with each other either, for sometimes they do not even find each other pleasant. Therefore they do not need such companionship, unless they are useful to each other. For they are pleasant to each other only in so far as they rouse in each other hopes of something good to come. Among such friendships, people also class the friendship of a host and guest. On the other hand, the friendship of young people seems to aim at pleasure, for they live under the guidance of emotion, and pursue above all what is pleasant to themselves and what is immediately before them. But with increasing age, their pleasures become different. This is why they quickly become friends and quickly cease to be so.
Whoa. The silence in this room speaks volumes. They quickly become friends and quickly cease. Their interests change.
Oh.
Look at that again. That's amazing. On the other hand, friendship beyond grief seems to aim at pleasure. They live under the guidance of emotion. They pursue what is pleasant to themselves and what is immediately before them. With their increasing age, their pleasures become different. This is why they quickly become friends and quickly cease to be so.
Their friendship changes with the object that is found pleasant, and such pleasure alters quickly. Young people are amorous too, for the greater part of the friendship of love depends on emotion and aims at pleasure. This is why they fall in love and quickly fall out of love, changing often within a single day. But these people do wish to spend their days and lives together, for it is thus that they attain the purpose of their friendship.
Pretty clear, right? Any comments? Okay, very good. Next.
Perfect friendship is the friendship of men who are good and alike in virtue. For these wish well alike to each other, quo good.
Qua good.
Qua good.
And so just like
And so
qua,
on.
you'd like the useful friend, qua useful. The pleasant friend, qua pleasant. The perfect friend, qua good. So qua is in so much as. So useful friend, you love, qua useful. You love it insofar as it's useful, insofar as it's pleasant. Qua good.
And they are good themselves. Now those who wish well to their friends for their sake are most truly friends, for they do this by reason of own nature and not incidentally. Therefore their friendship lasts as long as they are good, and goodness is an enduring thing. And each is good without qualification, and to his without qualification, and to his friend. For the good are both good without qualification and useful to each other. So too they are pleasant. For the good are pleasant both without qualification and to each other, since to each his own activities and others like them are pleasurable, and the actions of the good are the same or like. And such a friendship is as might be expected permanent, since there meet in it all the qualities that friends should have. For all friendship is for the sake of good or of pleasure. Good or pleasure either in the abstract or such as will be enjoyed by him who has the friendly feeling and is based on certain resemblance. And to a friendship of good men, all the qualities we have named belong in virtue of the nature of the friends themselves. For in the case of this kind of friendship, the other qualities also are alike in both friends, and that which is good without qualification is also without qualification pleasant, and those are the most lovable qualities. Love and friendship, therefore, are found most and in their best form between such men.
We're going to break this all down.
But it is natural that such friendships should be infrequent, for such men are rare. Further, such friendship requires time and familiarity. As the proverb says, men cannot know each other till they have eaten salt together, nor can they admit each other to friendship, or be friends till each has been found lovable and been trusted by each. Those who quickly show the marks of friendship to each other wish to be friends, but are not friends unless they both are lovable and know the fact. For a wish for friendship may arise quickly, but friendship does not. So this is why it took time on the trail.
You're right.
Aristotle, you should read him.
Thank you. I was just impatient. All right, so this one is really deep, and the translation plays a lot. Because what are they trying to say? And it's because they're trying to translate it out of the Greek. And Aristotle's Greek is very, his language is very close to reality. So, it's things like a friendly feeling, which isn't really that, but it's because his mind is grasping a truth that it's hard to put into words. So you have to just kind of weed yourself through that. But there's a lot in here to weed through, so I want to try to break it down for you. So this then shifts into what is true friendship. And let's just kind of work at it sentence by sentence, according to what he says.
Qualifications in there. Qualifications.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so let's try to outline it a little bit. Perfect friendship is the friendship of men who are good and alike in virtues. Wow. So, number one, only good people can be true friends. True or false?
True.
Why? Don't look at Aristotle. I want you to do philosophy with your own brain.
Because only good people are going to be able to really wish the best for the other person.
Or to have a greater knowledge. To be good is to know more.
So do you think that when you have a vice or a bad spot to you, you are less capable of true friendship?
It might be more difficult.
An obstacle.
Like, if your vice is greed, and that person is your friend, but you're gonna have to constantly be fighting greed and wanting what's really best for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's
Now,
good.
if you can conquer that, then you are a true friend. But then you're also good.
So this is really good because when you are looking for your true friends, sometimes people say, oh, the religious, my friends aren't religious, my friends smoke ganja, my friends do all these bad things, but they're still my friends. True or false?
True.
so doesn't that clash?
No, because there's different levels of friendship.
Talk to me.
You can have a truer friendship with someone who's a better person, I guess. Whereas if you're friends who are like good people, but like on a lower level, not necessarily on like a higher spiritual level, you can still be friends with them, but you can only go so far.
Yeah, you can't have that full, because if it's friendship is like the common experiences, and the more common experiences you have,
On a more spiritual
the
level.
closer you're going to be. I can't have common experience with my friend that's smoking ganja. I don't even know how to say it.
Yeah, your friendship will be as deep as your goodness.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Because it's kind of true to my experience, right? When you meet people that appear anyway to not have a lot of virtue, I don't know, their houses are all messy, they eat poorly, they don't know how to spend their time, they drink alcohol, but they could still be married and have something that's true in their life. But it's kind of like you're a little bit sad because you're like compared to people that really are able to dedicate themselves selflessly to the other, there seems to be a deeper depth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's like friends, but a true friend is only good people.
And to the degree that you're good.
Yeah.
So this is kind of cool because it means that the more that, sometimes this is like, give you an example where you see this philosophy, just to show you how Aristotle is everywhere. It's in that saying that, they're trying to get girls to like be virtuous, and the girls will want to throw themselves after any boy possible because all they want to have is a family. So they're like, oh, maybe I'll throw my faith away. And there's that like those little books that they write for 27-year-old girls, saying things like, you know how you find your true spouse? You run as fast as you can to God, then you look over and you see who's running next to you. Okay, what are they doing? They're trying to say this. They're trying to say, hey, you becoming good doesn't mean that you're less capable. It actually is going to make you more capable. The problem is that you're going to have to meet a good man. And that's where there's their problem. There seems to be a lack on the other end of runners in the race.
You were trying to fix that this morning.
Yeah.
Too bad you're not going with us.
I remember.
The Skype session this morning.
Oh, I was trying to work on it. Yeah, so that's kind of like where that's coming from. So it's good to be able to buoy yourselves up when you're like, oh man, I'm the only one, no one else. You're kind of like, no, it's just that I'm like an eagle with a chicken in a chicken coop. I gotta fly the chicken coop and go to where the eagles are. Simple as that. But then I'll be all by myself, and maybe you won't find any eagles. And you're like, well, it's better to do that than act like you're a chicken. Because once you get exposed to a certain amount of truth and greatness, you can't go back without killing yourself. And there are certain people that do. But they fall, and they always remember. It's like the priests that get married. I've met a number of them now, and they always whisper to me in secret, "It's not worth it." One guy said, "Never tell my wife this." Never tell my wife this.
Wow.
It's not worth it. Because they knew that they were called. If you didn't know you were called, you'd be like, "I don't want to be a priest." But for those who knew they were called, then they just fell. They just wanted to have a wife. For guys, it's less than kids. It's really the wife. And so God can bless that, But then they, every single one that I've met is kind of a little bit of a tortured man. And okay, they got to go their way, and it's not, But it's something like that, and I think there's something inside of us too. Is that temptation to not push to excellence because we don't want to be alone. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. The higher you go, the more rare it will be to find a true friend, essentially, because there's less sparse. More sparse. Less.
But I find what you have to do as a Christian, you have to go to Christ and be like, only you can really match it because you're the one summoning me to this greatness.
But I think, you're going to find those few people
And it'll be a
where
richer
that,
relationship.
where that relationship,
Yeah.
you don't need all of these friendships because you have these really in-depth like friendship, like Tolkien and C.S. Lewis.
It's cool. That was in the first sentence. Perfect friendship is the friendship of men
We're
who
just
are
reviewing.
good and alike in. No, but like my point is, they show us the deep this is, and they're alike in virtue. And I just want to emphasize that word virtue. It means class. You can think of it today as classiness. Who are alike in the way that they hold themselves. And after a while, you start to notice that you actually go towards people who are like you. And so it's actually one little way, I think, that you can test like a guy. Because sometimes like, is he just putting this on? Look at who his friends are. And watch. Because you will be secretly, you'll find yourself near people who are like you. I do this all the time with the teens, with the young adults when I'm watching them. Because you could see I'm thinking of examples of girls that I'm like, man, she is really like well put together. Like this is an impressive girl. But then she's always hanging out with kind of the broken folk. And it's not just like Mother Angelica, you see that actually, her brokenness comes out. It's like, which is fine. It's not a judgment, but it's kind of like you're able to watch and test because naturally in groups people segregate to people who are like themselves. This is law that goes all the way back to here. So wouldn't it be neat for you to slowly be kind of like, I wish I was with those guys, and kind of like moving up, not in a sense of power, but in a sense of class. I want to be an intelligent conversation. I want to have an experience where I leave this party really feeling refreshed instead of just leaving it feeling spent. For these wish well alike to each other as good, and they are good. So the only good people can be true friends. I would say that differently. I say your friendship will be as deep as your goodness, because what he's saying is you wish someone good things, good things, because they are good. Not because they are useful or pleasant. Now he's going to go into this. He's going to say why he's saying that. And he's going to say that goodness is deeper because it belongs to something like their nature or their essence. It's, in other words, as we say today, who they are. I love you for who you are when I see your goodness. Otherwise, I love you for what you do or what you give me. Isn't this funny? Because it's like, this sounds just like a typical talk we give to teenagers. Yeah, it is. And when you're educating a child, or teenager, you're trying to educate them to not be focused on what people do or what they can give you, but love them for who they are. The problem is that when you're 14, you're like, you are no one. Like, who are you? You're a mess. Which is why Aristotle will say, it takes a person who's really capable of friendship when they're about 35 and on up. And you shouldn't even spend your time teaching youth about this stuff. Because it says the youth are pushed by their passions and not by reason. It's only after a person's about 35 that they're capable of reasoning about friendship. Now, I get in there and say, no, we got to teach them right away because we're fighting. The passions are so strong, the world is so crazy.
Yeah, 35 is a long time to be like, nobody can be friends, so they're...
No, you can be friends, but you won't be able to reason about it.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, that's like...
I don't think it's true either, but it's what it says. His point just behind that is that you got to be able to look and understand what this is, who the person is. And this is why you end up saying, this is going to say, that a friend is a friend of the other for his own sake. So I like you, I love you, I choose you because you're good. It's kind of cool. The better you are, the more lovable you are. So when you're good, you're lovable. really hard to reject an old, cute priest. They're just adorable. And it's true. Like they're like completely non-offensive guys. They're kind of bald and a little bit hunched over, and they're just like, hi. And you're like, I mean, how could I not like Father Ted? You know? I mean, I love old priests. I can't figure out how they do it. I hope one day I'm like that. It's completely non-offensive, just like these wonderful father people. They're just there. It's really amazing. Well, there's a sign there also, just that's being steeped in 50 years of service. You know, you become service. You're just there, and you're serving. It's pretty cool. I look up to old priests a lot. Perfect friendship is the friendship of men who are good and alike in virtue. For these wish well alike to each other as being good. And they are good. So when a good person meets another good person, just like. Yeah. Now those who wish well to their friends for their sake are most truly friends. For they do this by reason of their nature and not incidentally. So that's a bad translation. Incidentally would be, and not based on anything superficial. So incidental, think superficial. So they do this by reason of who the person is and not what they do for them. Therefore, their friendship lasts as long as they are good. This is so cool. I love that little quote. And goodness is an enduring thing. What do you think he means by that? Goodness is an enduring thing.
It means it's not swayed by passions or emotions, and therefore it's a sturdier foundation. And it endures any emotion.
And I think that goodness is like lovable. Like it sticks together. Like being unlovable, unlovable. Like, but like in that form, like you're more attracted to its lovely.
I keep thinking of people that I know who are good, like objectively good, like developed, beautiful souls. Right? There's something, he's saying it's an enduring thing. Even if they got old and kind of grouchy maybe, you'd still be like, they're good. They're kind of like this, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a glowing quality to that. It's an enduring thing. I just think it's worth meditating on, contemplating a little bit. Because what he's talking about here is something that we all need to aspire to, right? He's talking about your character, like who you are. And you guys are in the years of battle. I mean, we all are, I am too. The years of battle where we constantly have to choose, is it worth it to become patient? Is it worth it to become gentle? Is it worth it to curb my language? And you're kind of like, no, it's not. Who really cares? Because our culture today doesn't care much about character. It actually kind of celebrates stupidity. You know, we don't look up to Abraham like he would make fun of him. We should be looking up to George Washington. When we get a little kid, I want to be like George Washington. You'll be like, oh, oh, oh. And then you give him a whoopee cushion. You know, so and we think that somehow this is like better. You know, we celebrate, I think, weakness.
That's true.
And when we do that, we miss out on being enduring, having something to you that's so substantial. That's what, see, I think that's privately why I don't like stupid jokes. I don't like dumb movies. There's something in me that just says, like, I don't want.
Too passive.
Yeah, I want to be excellent. I really want to learn Latin. I really want to be able to converse about the Greek myths. I want to be around people who can teach me to appreciate, you know, Schoenberg is a modern composer. You know, to be able to know about politics, understand it, how the economy works, be
because there's a taste that you acquire after time for those higher things that actually makes it like worth it. No, I'm not going to go on. It's better, it's preferable for me to watch the news than to go to the bar. People who are at a lower level, they don't really understand it. But when you start to raise up, what you get out of it is this quality of soul, this character. And I think that this is actually what we need to evangelize today. Because people are attracted to character. When you're solid and firm, people form around you. They attach to you. They want what you have. Even if they can't say it, they don't say it. There's something about you that forms a culture. And that's character. Goodness is an enduring thing. So it'd be kind of cool just to get in touch with where you have become good. Not just where you want to be good, but where I'm actually like, Regina exists here. So like, Regina is, if I was thinking about Regina, I'd say Regina is compassionate. So I could actually put that qualification in Regina because I've seen it, I've experienced it. Regina is compassionate, not almost compassionate, maybe, no. And there I've actually got a quality to Regina that's solid. There's a character to you, and it's there. And there's other things I could go. I could say Bree is insightful. You have a way, Bree, of looking at a situation and getting going up behind it. There, right? How did you know? And yeah, okay, so like, that's where you are good. And so wouldn't it be neat for us to be able to list off 15 things saying he's actually formed there? This is, sitting with George Washington, honest, courageous. Or Pope John Paul II. Wow, what an assemblage of virtue. Mother Teresa, assemblage of virtue. I want you to think in your own lives. I want you to be attentive when you meet the people we bring in here. Who is it that you can almost sense that they are something? Like, I met the compassion of Regina. And I know this thing, it only belongs to her. But it's compassion in Regina. That's beautiful. Makes me want to be around her. Think about. I think if I think about people that I'm attracted to, you're always attracted to the goodness in them. And it's not just this warm fuzzy. It's like, the intelligence, right, of Father Francis Therese. Intelligence, the wisdom, the calmness. Those are the things that he's acquired by choice and by fighting, becoming a monk instead of getting drunk and playing with his dog. And the more that he gets those qualities, it's amazing because the more lovable he becomes. It's almost like you emerge into personhood. Who you are is who you choose to become. Who you are is who you, through choices, I've sacrificed to become who I am. And they've sacrificed by not getting mad, not cussing, not kicking the dog, feeding the dog every day, wiping up the dishes every day, burping the kid every day. And when I just have chosen that, I become mother. And now, give me another one. I'm dead, next 30 years, but I wouldn't do anything else. And you end up just being mom. These 65-year-old ladies that are walking around just like, how did you become that person? They chose to become that person. And so I think that one of the biggest wounds that your culture has to it is that it doesn't celebrate that. It acts like you can just buy who you are, or put on yoga pants and mascara and get your perfect hair and your perfect nails and your perfect body, and you'll be beautiful, well put together, confident, shiny. I'm like, no. All that does, those things do, is they help you. I think it's easier to become that way when your hair is right. It's easier to be that.